Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Worship Drumming. This is the channel to learn some of the most popular worship songs on the drum, so consider subscribing if you haven't yet. In today's video, we're going to be learning Today is the Day by Brewster. Now, this is a new song that I just learned. The song is kind of older, but I just heard this for the first time about a month ago or so. I've sat down and learned it, I feel comfortable with playing it, and now I want to teach it to you guys because, like most worship songs on YouTube, there isn't really an actual drum tutorial of breaking the entire song down. So that's what this video is. We're breaking down Today is the Day by Brewster. I'm going to go ahead and lift the camera and we're going to start the tutorial. The guitar and vocals are going to introduce the song, then the drums are going to play sort of an introduction fill, and we're going to go straight into the main groove of the song. Here's the fill that the drums are going to be playing during that introduction. It's going to be for an entire bar, and so you're going to do quarter notes on open hats, only 3 quarter notes though. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to play and 4 and. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 4 and. Make sure you're getting that quick transition down to play the and of 3, and you're going to finish it off with those 8th notes. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 and then we're going straight into the main part of the groove. So after that and of 4, you're going to crash with your kick drum, and then we're going to start playing the main groove. I'll go ahead and talk about the main groove now, and then I will play the introduction fill and the main groove. So the main groove that we're going to be playing here, this is also going to be the chorus groove at the same time. So all it is 8th notes on our hi-hats, and it's going to be a nice open washy hi-hat. It's just going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now our kick drum is landing on every quarter note, so that's every 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And then our snare drum is landing on the backbeats of 2 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So those are also landing with our kick drum. That is going to be the instrumental part that we play here, and that's also the chorus groove. We go ahead, plug this up for you guys, and we'll start talking about the verse. A quick thing I wanted to mention before we start talking about the verse is you notice that fill I played there at the end, that I played the and 4 and on my snare drum there. That's also the same thing like I did in the introduction fill. And now if you are ever struggling to come up with a fill throughout this song, just go ahead and use that and 4 and on the snare drum. They do it a few times through the song, and it is a nice fill that works with everything. Now we're getting into the main part here, which is the verse. Now the verse, he's kind of looping a 4-bar thing, but don't worry, it's not like it's anything too crazy or bad. So I'll kind of teach you what he's doing for the 4 bars, but I like to just cut it back to 2 bars just because, for one, it's simpler, and 2, there's a cool thing going on in the 4th bar that I really like to play, so I try to squeeze it in there as much as I can. The first bar is just super simple. It's just like what we were playing, but now we have closed hats, and it's 8th notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Our kick drum is now only landing on 1 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And snare drum is landing on only 2 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's the first bar. Now the second bar, all that's changing is we're going to throw a little accent on our hi-hat. And it's going to be on the of 2. It'd be like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So just bring that left hand up, and a little tip that you can do if you struggle bringing this left hand through here to come up and you might be hitting your other stick a lot, a technique that a lot of players do, and this is also to play fast, is they'll just flip their left hand up here real quick. So it'd be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I'm not very good at it, obviously, as you could tell, but it's just a thing to think about and something to maybe possibly work on. So that's the second bar. And then the third bar is the same as the first bar. You're just playing your normal 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, the 4th bar here is where things get a little tricky, and this is where it sounds kind of cool. On the and of 3, you're going to raise your left foot, and I know you're not going to be able to see this very well, and that's why I'll play it for you guys a few times so you can hear it. You're going to raise your left foot to open your hi-hats on the and of 3, You're going to close your hi-hats on beat 4, and then you're going to open your hi-hats again on the end of beat 4. Be 3, open, 4, open. So on 3 it's closed, you're going to open it on the end of 3, close it on 4, and then open it on the end of 4. I know this is kind of hard to see what's going on, but it'll be like 1 and 2 and 3, tss, tss. And so you just want to get that nice open and close in there and make those real nice and even. That's going to be the challenge at first, is you won't be able to get those in there as even as you want at first. But that's the main part, and that's what I like to do a lot throughout the song, because it's just a fun little thing to play. Now this is going to take a little coordination between your foot hitting the kick drum on 3, then having to lift your left foot up on the end of 3, and then closing your left foot, then hitting the snare drum on 4, and then lifting your left foot up again to open the hi-hats on the end of 4. And I know it kind of sounds a little confusing, but you just have to sit there and you just have to do it over and over until you get it right. Just keep doing that one bar over and over until you get it right. And so now, if you're like me and you really like doing that open and close thing on the hi-hat, you can just cut the thing back to 2 bars. So instead of having to loop 4 bars, wait until that 4th bar, and it's kind of hard to remember what bar you're on while you're playing, especially if you're in a worship setting and your mind isn't on just sitting there counting the entire time. You want to just cut it back, just play the first bar as the 1 and 2 and So the first bar would be using the and on the hi-hat, and the second bar would be doing the hi-hat open and close. I'm just going to break down both those bars doing the and then the opening of the hi-hat and closing it, just so you guys can see how those sound, because I'm sure all of us have down that, 8th note, kick drum on 1 and 3, snare drum on 2 and 4. I'll go ahead and do this for a little bit, and then we'll talk about another part of the verse, and then we'll talk about the bridge. I want to talk to you guys about 2 parts of the song real quick that I'm not going to play for you, but I'll explain them. And the reason I'm not going to play them is because it would just waste time. It's very similar to what we've been doing so far. During the verse, you notice there's that instrumental break there, sort of, where everything just kind of opens up. And all you're doing is you're just going to open your hi-hats. You're just going to play 8th notes on your hi-hats. Your kick drum is still on 1 and 3, and your snare drum is still on 2 and 4, just like it's been throughout the verse. You're just playing it on an open hi-hat, not adding any of the fancy open, close, or extra beats on the hi-hat. And then I also want to talk to you about the guitar solo real quick. So when the guitarist is doing his solo, all you're doing is you're just playing the chorus groove behind it. The main groove that I taught you guys at the very beginning of the video. So after the guitarist is done having his fun, we go into the bridge. And so what the drums are doing now is we're going to close our hi-hat, and we're just going to keep time, 8th notes on the hi-hat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Our kick drum is going to land on all the quarter notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Our snare drum is not going to be played at all. We're just going to be keeping the beat, just playing that nice 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, adding those quarter notes with the kick drum. And now he treats this just like the verse. So he's going to play 4 different bars, and he's going to loop those. It's going to be the same thing as the verse with the fancy hi-hat add-ins and open and closes. First bar, he's just going to play straight 8th notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And when he gets to the second bar, he's going to do adding the of 2 on the hi-hat. 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4. And then the third bar, he's playing it normal, just like the first bar. And in the 4th bar, he's doing the fancy open-close thing. This is where doing your coordination with your left foot gets a little tricky. Well, when you're doing that, you're learning to do it between your right foot, your left hand, and your left foot. Now you have to learn how to do it just between your right foot, your right hand, and your left foot. So you're going to need to be able to do 3 and 4 and, getting those lifts in there with your left foot when it's appropriate. The hard thing is going to be because your snare drum's not there, it's going to throw you off for a second the first few times you practice it. So you need to be able to keep the eighth notes there and then adding the 3 and 4 and. It's going to be a little difficult at first, and once again, if you don't want to loop that for 4 bars, you can just loop it every 2 bars because I know it's a lot easier. As the bridge kind of progresses and it starts to build a little bit more, we're going to be throwing an accent in on the and of 2. And now I'm not exactly sure how often this happens. It might happen every 2 bars, I think it is. And all it is on the and of 2, we're going to play our snare drum and our crash cymbal at the same time. So that would be, and I believe it's on the lyric of I. And I'm not going to try to sing the lyrics because of copyright reasons, but whenever he says I, there's sort of that punch there. And so it's on the and of 2. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And so it's just hitting that snare drum and cymbal. And then after that, there's sort of a build that goes on at the end, and all you really have to do is you can just build it between your floor tom and snare drum. Just play a bar of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and just gradually get louder. That's called a crescendo if you didn't know. That's just what I played there, just gradually getting louder as you play. And then you're just going to crash back into the chorus and just play out for the rest of the song. So let me go ahead and break all that down for you and play it for you in the bridge. Thank you so much everyone for watching. As you can probably tell that my clothes have changed. I forgot to shoot an outro for the video. But anyways, thanks so much for watching. Leave a thumbs up if you learned something new today, and subscribe below if you're interested in more content like you saw in the video today. And hopefully on Sunday or Monday I have a pretty special video that I'm going to be putting out for you guys, and it's going to be a nice little project that I'm working on. Anyways, thanks so much again for watching. I'll see you in the next video.